Okay, let's unpack this. So you're looking at the online gaming scene in South Africa. It's definitely a market with a lot of buzz, but maybe not in the way you'd first think.
Exactly. It's less about being totally untapped, More like a mature market that's still got significant growth potential. We've got some great insights here.
Right. It's like an established player ready for its next phase.
Yeah.
So think of this as your quick guide to the essentials. Is it, worth jumping in? How do you even start legally?
Yeah.
And what do you really need for your platform and getting the word out?
Yeah, our goal today is basically to boil down this deep dive into South Africa's iGaming scene, give you the key stuff without burying you in details.
So why South Africa? The sources call it a golden brick with a halo, which sounds pretty promising.
It does, doesn't it? And it points to that mix. It's already successful, but there's still upside. It's the third largest economy in Africa, so there's real spending power there.
Especially, apparently, in places like the Western Cape. They mentioned players there have high player quality. I guess that means they stick around longer.
Yeah, longer life cycles. It suggests maybe focusing on loyalty could be just as important as chasing sheer volume. Build a solid base.
Makes sense. Now, the legal side sounds, well, surprisingly organized, especially compared to some other African countries, maybe.
Uh-huh. There's a high level of legalization, it seems, with pretty clear rules, but crucially, they're at the provincial level. Not one single national body calling all the shots.
That provincial setup seems key. It gives you structure, but also, I guess, allows for regional differences.
Exactly. Provincial autonomy plus national supervision, as one source puts it. And you need that structure if you're building a legitimate business.
And the players themselves sound like they're really passionate, especially about sports. Rugby, obviously, the Springboks.
Oh, yeah.
Football, EPL, Champions League, AFCON cricket too, and esports is apparently growing fast.
That sports culture is huge, and esports taps into a whole different, younger demographic too.
And here's something critical. Mobile phone usage is massive. High penetration. So, it's kind of obvious, right? Your platform has to be slick on mobile.
Absolutely non-negotiable. For many people, their smartphone is their primary internet device. So yeah, mobile first, mobile stable, mobile fast.
If it's clunky on a phone, you're probably dead in the water.
Pretty much.
And the market size.
Yeah.
It's big and growing. Projected to hit, nearly $3 billion by 2025 and keep climbing. Online sports betting is a massive part of that.
It is. And interestingly, a lot of international operators see South Africa as a kind of launch pad.
A launch pad for the rest of Africa.
Yeah, exactly. Get established in a relatively stable, regulated market before maybe tackling potentially more complex environments elsewhere on the continent.
Okay, so the potential looks good, but the practicalities. Getting a license, this is the big takeaway. It's done locally by each province.
That's the absolute key point on licensing. There are 9 provinces, and you need a license from one of them to operate. They aren't interchangeable.
You have to pick your base province. And the top 3, based on revenue, seem to be Gauteng, Western Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal.
Right. Makes sense. Gauteng has the highest revenue, biggest population, Johannesburg. Lots of international companies are licensed there.
It sounds like the application process there can be, pretty demanding. High technical standards, strict risk control requirements.
Well, it's the economic hub, so you'd expect competition and maybe tougher scrutiny.
Then there's the Western Cape. This sounds maybe a bit more straightforward. They mentioned a transparent process, standardized documents, efficient service.
Yeah, and strong spending power there too. The example they gave for a bookmaker license fee was, around R14,000 initially, and under R3,000 annually?
Yeah, R14,377 and R2,884. Seems, quite a bit lower than European license fees for sure.
Definitely more accessible, perhaps. That transparency and efficiency could be really appealing, especially for newer entrants.
And the third one, KwaZulu-Natal. Strong horse racing history, apparently, but the local policies maybe lean more towards physical betting shops still.
That's the impression, yeah. Its history might mean the regulations haven't quite caught up with the purely online focus, perhaps.
So, whichever one you choose, you need your paperwork sorted, company details, info on your key people. They even need their own specific license in some places, like the Western Cape.
A key employee license, yeah. Costs about R585 initially, then R155 a year in the Western Cape example. Standard stuff for regulated industries, really.
Right. Plus your business plan, technical setup, compliance commitments like KYC, AML stuff, proof of funds, agreements with suppliers. sometimes even a tax plan.
And expect background checks and maybe even on-site inspections. It's thorough. They want to see you're a serious, responsible operator.
No winging it allowed. Okay, license hopefully in hand. What about the platform itself, the tech side? 3 main routes, it seems.
You can use someone else's system and their license a white label. That's fast to market, but you have less control, obviously.
Okay, option 2. Use an existing system, like a platform provider, but get your own license.
Yeah, that gives you more flexibility and control over the brand and operations, but you still rely on a third-party tech stack.
And option 3. Build everything yourself from scratch.
Which means a long time, high cost, unless you happen to have a massive, experienced tech team ready to go. Total control, but a huge undertaking.
So trade-offs there. Now, what do the players actually want from the platform? Interestingly, it's not necessarily flashy graphics or anything.
No, the priority seems to be speed and smooth withdrawals. Fast loading, easy betting, and quick, hassle-free access to winnings.
That focus on speed and reliability is telling, isn't it? Players value efficiency and, well, trust.
Absolutely. So key front-end features.
Yeah.
Multi-language support is crucial. English and Afghans are essential. Zulu's a big plus.
Obviously settling bets in ZR, South African Rand, and that mobile design has to be responsive, really intuitive.
Yeah, easy betting interface, real-time odds, simple navigation, especially for popular sports like rugby, football, cricket, horse racing.
Right.
Esports, too.
Simple registration, but with proper KYC checks. Betting history, account management, live streaming is a big draw if you can get it.
And fast customer support. Chat, phone, email, people need help quickly if something goes wrong.
Definitely. And behind the curtain, the back-end systems need to be robust. CRM for managing users, bonus systems, risk control.
Crucial for fraud prevention. Data analytics to understand player behavior, payment management for all the local methods, strong security architecture.
Game content management, customer service tools. It's a complex machine running it all.
It really is. The back end is the engine room, making sure everything runs smoothly and compliantly.
And security. You mentioned security architecture. That needs to be top tier, right?
Paramount. Qualified payment gateways, regular updates for firewalls, anti-DDoS protection, encrypting user data, clear privacy policies.
Login alerts, maybe. Professional penetration testing, getting ethical hackers to test your defenses.
All of that. You have to treat user data and funds like Fort Knox. It's fundamental for reputation and survival.
Okay, so platform built, hopefully secure. How do people actually deposit and withdraw? The payment methods sound quite varied.
Very diverse. You've got EFT bank transfers. Local bank cards are popular like Compitech, Standard Bank, FNB.
Then these voucher systems like OTT voucher. And direct carrier billing through mobile networks like MTN and Vodacom.
Yeah, that variety reflects different access levels to banking and just how popular mobile payments are.
And it seems many users actually prefer those mobile options or vouchers over traditional credit cards sometimes.
That's right. And then there's crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, gaining traction, especially among younger players.
Faster settlements, maybe more anonymity. Interesting trend.
Definitely. So when you're picking payment providers, they absolutely must support ZIR, integrate easily with those popular local methods, banks, vouchers, mobile billing.
And ideally support crypto and maybe even multi-currency if you have broader ambitions.
Offering that choice caters to preferences and can be a real competitive advantage.
Right. Final piece of the puzzle, marketing. Getting players onto your shiny new platform. How do you navigate that?
The advice is generally to start with things like affiliate partnerships, SEO, content marketing, maybe building Facebook communities, lower initial cost, often performance-based.
Then scale up gradually with paid search ads, maybe sponsorships, broader brand activities later.
Seems like a sensible, staged approach, but, and this is a huge but, all iGaming promotion has to pass what the sources call 3 gates.
3 gates, which are?
Legal, compliance, and traceability. You've got the National Gambling Act, plus specific provincial rules to follow. It's strict.
So no cutting corners on ads. They absolutely must include responsible gambling messages.
Yes, clearly displayed. And no misleading claims about guaranteed riches or anything like that.
And all ad content needs to be traceable, documented.
Right.
Basically, prove your advertising responsible.
Exactly. It's about protecting consumers and maintaining the integrity of the industry. Heavy penalties if you get it wrong.
So preparation is key. Define your target audience, your geographic focus. Are you going nationwide or just specific provinces? language strategy.
English, African Essential, Zulu, highly recommended again. And you must research the specific advertising laws in your chosen provinces, especially around bonus offers. They can differ.
Right, and common ways to actually generate traffic. You mentioned affiliates pay per result, basically.
Yeah, SEO and Google ads are big, but you need special certification from Google to run gambling ads.
Okay. Sports sponsorships, community engagement, builds trust, I suppose.
Definitely. Social media marketing, especially content creation, and then promotions, recharge rewards. But make sure the landing pages are super clear and compliant.
Makes sense. So bringing it all together, what's the bottom line for someone considering this?
Well, South Africa clearly presents a significant opportunity in iGaming. It's a mature, regulated market with growth potential.
But it's not a simple plug-and-play situation. You need a solid strategy, a deep understanding of those provincial regulations.
A platform tailored to local preferences, especially speed and mobile usability. You need to navigate that diverse payment landscape.
And promote your business responsibly and compliantly. It demands a well-informed, careful approach.
Absolutely. Strategic, compliant, and locally aware. That seems to be the recipe for success there.
And here's that really interesting final thought. The fact that major international players use South Africa as a strategic starting point for wider African expansion says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. It highlights its importance not just domestically, but regionally.
So it makes you wonder, what other, perhaps similarly mature markets around the globe might offer those kinds of stable launchpad advantages for companies looking to expand? Definitely something to think about for your own potential next steps.